Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So guys, now the Fulanization of Nigeria, this thing that Obasanjo came out with a couple of days ago, is pretty much something that everybody within the Nigerian state, at least within the southern parts of the Nigerian state, seem to be agreed on. Because since Obasanjo came out to make this statement, a lot of people have been coming out to say, look, this is something that we have been noticing as well. So I shall bring you a series of stories and a series of voices that have assented to what Obasanjo has said. So we kick off with Bode George. So I bring you this: Fulanization of Nigeria, Bode George slams Sule Lamido, backs Obasanjo. So that's the headline for the Bode George one. Fulanization of Nigeria, Bode George slams Sule Lamido, backs Obasanjo. Now here's the body of what this particular storyline is. Former National Vice Chairman of the People's Democratic Party PDP, Olabode George, has slammed a former governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, for describing ex-president Olusegun Obasanjo as a religious and ethnic bigot. Pa George, so they call him Pa now because of his age, I'm assuming, but Pa George, a former military governor of Ondo State, spoke to journalists at his Ikoyi office in Lagos. He accused Lamido of disrespecting Obasanjo, whom, according to him, George was a concerned nationalist. Obasanjo had recently alleged that there's a grand plot by some elements to foist a Fulani and Islamic agenda on Nigeria and other West African countries. But in a quick response, Lamido said Obasanjo should not allow his displeasure with the current administration to make him a religious and an ethnic bigot. George said Obasanjo has the right to express his observations over the incursions and increased activities of herdsmen in the southwest. He said, "Things have never been this bad in this country, and the way we are going about it is creating unnecessary division. What is our problem as Nigerians?" When Obasanjo left office as military head of state in 1979, a lot of Yoruba people blacklisted him, saying he should have handed over to Pa Awolowo instead of a Fulani man. There was no name that he was not called, but Obasanjo is a straightforward person. Recently, he made a comment as an observation that things are not going right in this country. The incursion of herdsmen is disturbing. He is also a farmer, and a lot of farmers are complaining bitterly that their farms are being ravaged. My friend, the former governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, accused Obasanjo, who has always been a nationalist, of being a bigot. What Lamido said was absolute nonsense and an insult. Does he know what Obasanjo suffered? Was it not the same man who made Lamido whom he is by giving him the opportunity to become a minister? But he is now turning around to call him a bigot. Why did Lamido not find out from Obasanjo why he made the statement? Wole Soyinka made the same observation that Obasanjo made, and you know that both men are not usually on the same page. Maybe we should reverse roles and get some Agbekoya farmers from the southwest to go to Lamido's village and start ravaging farmlands, and then we would know what he would say. What is right, and what is wrong. I invite Lamido to come to the southwest, and I will take him around the villages so he can see what these farmers who are losing their livelihoods are feeling. Our people are complaining about the sudden incursions and increased activities of herdsmen in the southwest. Why can't Lamido see through that prism? We should be careful about some of the reckless comments that we make. Does it mean if tomorrow an Igbo man becomes the president, Igbo traders will now carry cutlasses and chase everyone away from their village? Buhari should use his position as president of the Fulani herdsmen in West Africa to calm these people down. It is a challenge to him, or that should be, it is a challenge for him. So now that is what Bode George has to say, a prominent figure within the Nigerian Nigerian space, but they judge. So that is what he has had to say, and obviously Soyinka is of that view as well, that this herdsmen thing is an attempt to Islamize and to Fulanize the country. I think there's really no disputing that now. Let me now go on to, let me just read you another commentary from somewhere else, just to see how widespread this is. Okay, now this really is a biased view. So this is a biased view, and you would expect these people to say this, but nevertheless, this is what they have to say. And when I tell you who is saying it, then you immediately understand my preamble. So Fulanization, we're 100% behind Obasanjo Christian elders. So the Christian elders, of course, the Christian elders will always take a position when it comes to religion in Nigeria. So now what do they have to say? Let's just have a look at it quickly. National Christian Elders Forum, NCEF, they like a lot of forums and all this kind of nonsense in Nigeria, don't they? National Christian Elders Forum, NCEF, and Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka have thrown their weight behind Chief Olusegun Obasanjo's call for an end to insecurity in the country. Whilst NCEF agreed with the former president that Boko Haram and herdsmen activity have become a tool to Fulanize West Africa and Islamize Africa, Soyinka said the country was undergoing a horrendous descent into the abyss. This is even as Southern and Middle Belt leaders kicked against plans by the federal government to float a Fulani radio station that would broadcast only in Fulfodi, I think that is their own language. The NCEF insisted that the federal government had not done enough to convince people that it has no Fulanization agenda and to Islamize the country through jihad. Obasanjo had in a keynote address at the Cathedral Church of St. Paul's Anglican in Olihe, the administrative capital of Isoko South local government area of Delta State, warned against a plot to Fulanize West Africa and Islamize Africa through Boko Haram activities. Reacting in a telephone interview, chairman of the forum, Elder Solomon Asemoto San, said, "We are behind Chief Obasanjo 100% on his comments that Boko Haram insurgency and the herdsmen crisis has become an agenda to Fulanize West Africa and Islamize Africa." Asemoto said his group, which comprises retired professionals from different fields of human endeavor, including very senior army generals such as former defense minister General Theophilus Danjuma, retired, has actually done a position letter on the issue to two former heads of state for them to arrest the drift of the nation. The group said, "We wrote to former head of state General Yakub Gowon and former head of state Olusegun Obasanjo because we are convinced that unless there's a genuine reconciliation over two conflicting ideologies in the country, the current security challenges will not only continue but will also escalate because we are at war with ourselves unnecessarily." Again, I say we support President Obasanjo 100%. In fact, I am of the feeling that he made this statement after reading the letter I sent to him on the issue. He understands that the current government is promoting Sharia ideology, which is at variance with the democratic norms of the country. Anybody who does not understand what we are saying should visit our website and see for him or herself the agenda this government is pursuing. What is baffling, though, is that the fact that two eminent Christian leaders, name withheld, are the ones promoting the Islamic cause. Where are the Muslims? So really, I could go on and on because there are countless examples of people backing this statement, and I don't really need to go on and on because it is there, visible for everybody to see. The country is being Fulanized. There's absolutely no question about that, because I have said often on this channel that anytime that there's an appointment, is always a Danladi, and it's Danladi. So if your name is not Danladi and you are not a Muslim, then you have no place within the Buhari structure. This has always been the case for the past 4 years, and this is likely to be the case continuing for the next 4 years. So now, if we have 80 years of Danladi and Muslim over the Nigerian space, it will impact almost irreversibly on the projection of this country, on the tonality and the texture and the way of being of this country. So now this is where we find ourselves now, and prominent voices are now adding their voices to our voices to say that this is now going on, because it is now so visible and so visceral that it is almost impossible not to acknowledge that it is happening, because it is happening. We cannot see it, you can see it, I can see it, we all know that is going on. So now, how do you stop it though, is the thing, because these guys, as I said, I often say this on this channel, these guys control all of the apparatus of states, they control everything. So what then do you do to stop it? Do you present an argument to them? Do you appeal to their better being? How do you then get the country out of this drift that is taking place? Because you see it everywhere. You just see these herdsmen just stroll casually into somebody's farm and just ravage it. You've been planting corn all year, and then they just eat their way through it, and the president will say, oh, that is their way of life. So their way of life is now impacting on your way of life. You are in situ in your own domain, and they've come from their own place of being to come to your own domain, to come and ravage your own land. And the person that is meant to put the checks and balances within the structures of the country is telling you that you can just get lost, you live with it or you swing, you know. So this is really the situation in the country now. All the key voices can no longer now keep quiet. And somebody pointed out earlier, and I fully agree, that it is very rare that you would hear Wole Soyinka agreeing with anything that Obasanjo has to say. But in this particular instance, it is almost impossible for them to disagree, because like I said, this is something that is visceral, this is something that is visible, and this is something that we can all see. So there is no getting away from it. You can see it. You know, if you go out in the rain without anything to protect you, you will get wet. That is not something that you can argue about. If you go out in the rain without anything to protect you from the rain, you will get wet. It is one of those kind of situations. It is there. It is a factual state of being, and this is now the situation that we're contending with. So conversations in the comment section is what I am inviting. The Fulanization of Nigeria, it has now come to be, and it's something that is going on now. So now, what is your take on it? So conversations I'm inviting, but before you come join me in the comment section to have that conversation, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. Click on the bell button, that way you're notified every time I drop a new video. Then come join me in the comment section. Let me know what you are making of the goings on within our country. So I'll leave you here, meet you in the comment section, but here I say peace.